What's up YouTube, Mr. Llama here, and today I want to talk about bugged items and what Blizzard has taken away from us. Now I'm not talking about your bugged towels or your Oculus rings or things that really came about through hacks and such. I'm talking about bugged items that were the code and the game engine conflicting and creating some bugs that we were then able to utilize and have some fun with items for a while in LOD, but have now been removed in D2R. Now, the classic one that we all remember is going to be your bugged e-bugging of shields and armors in Diablo 2. Now, the way that this worked is you would have an item in Diablo 2, you'd have an armor, and it gets a 50% bonus on its defense if it's ethereal. So if it is 500 defense, when it's ethereal, it's 750 defense. Nice and simple. However, what would happen if you did this cube recipe right here, Talthol Perfect Topaz, it would randomly add sockets to the item, and then in the actual code, it creates a new item that then references back to this old item that you have in here, but it would take the defense of that old item first, and then use that as its new base defense and add another 50% bonus on top of it. So now you're getting 50% of that 750 defense or whatever it is, and you get a much higher defense armor that you can then, plug in with a fortitude or a stone or whatever it is. And this is how we got these crazy large armors, right? So you can see this stone right here, 4,808. And technically a stone could go all the way up to 5,265 defense because a sacred armor is the highest defense armor at 600 defense is its top. So if you found a 600 defense armor, that was ethereal. Now it's 900 defense. You then go and put it in the cube and e-bug it. It goes up to 1,350 defense because you get the 50% of that 900, right? And then you put stone in with the 290 enhanced defense on top of that, and you get 5,265 defense. Pretty insane. You also, of course, had deliciously beautiful fortitudes and such that were reaching 3,000 to 4,000 defense pretty easily. So very, very cool. Very fun. This also worked, of course. People did this with exiles and such. The only issue, I would say, with it, and it was kind of a fun issue, and I think balanced it a little, is you had to, again, use this recipe, Talthol Perfect Topaz, which is going to put sockets in the armor, but it's a random number of sockets. So you're not guaranteed to get 4 sockets on this. You may just get 1 socket. You might get 2. You might get 3. And so if you were trying to make a fort, or if you were trying to make, a stone or whatever it was, and you rolled it and you only got 1 socket, that armor now is trash. And so you just have to throw it in the dump. And this was kind of a fun gambling balance to the idea. You could take that armor and get it, Larzicked for 4 open sockets guaranteed, but then you weren't going to get the extra bonus defense, so it was more fun to do the gamble and get this. And that was the whole thing, right? So e-bugging, a classic that existed for so long, and they fixed it up in D2R, and it was super sad. But another fix that they had, and one that I found to be more disturbing personally, and I would say less disturbing and more just sad, right? I didn't realize that this got stealth patched, but at some point in D2R's history of coding, they stealth patched this over here, which may seem a little confusing at first because you're looking at this and you're going, what am I looking at? It's a war scepter. It's got skills. I don't understand. Well, you see, there are forbidden skills in Diablo 2, and I'll list them right here. These skills right here are forbidden and cannot roll on class-specific items here. So for the Amazon, for the Assassin, there's none. The Druid, there's none. The Sorcerer, there's none. But for the Barbarian, it's every combat skill except for Leap, which is kind of funny and weird that they would do that, but they did. The Necromancer, it's Poison Dagger, which doesn't matter. Nobody wants Poison Dagger on any of their stuff. But the Paladin, there is Smite and Holy Shield. Why is it like this? Because Blizzard decided it, and that's how it was, right? So when they created the game, they decided these were going to be forbidden on your scepters, or forbidden on your necro heads there, or forbidden on, right, any of the barb helms, and they just won't exist. But Mr. Llama, you just showed me this picture, And there is definitely Holy Shield on this War Scepter. So what is going on? Well, basically what happened is when they wrote the code back then, they wrote it to pick from any of the skills in the game that could go on there on the scepter, and then check against the banned list and say, can this roll on it, right? So it picks from any paladin skill, and then it looks at the banned list and says, is this skill banned? If it is, it would just re-roll it, right? So when it's just trying to place the skills that it's going to put on there, it says, all right, meditation, that's fine. Okay, holy shield, that's not fine. Re-roll it. Okay, blessed aim, that's good, right? Whatever, right? So it picks it and re-rolls it. And that's all great in the code. However, a game engine doesn't want to have an infinite loop, right? Because technically, you could infinitely just keep rolling Holy Shield Smite, Holy Shield Smite, Holy Shield Smite over and over and over and over and over, and that would be a ton of processing, and it doesn't like that. So there is a hard cap to it of 6 rolls, or 7 rolls technically, because the 7th one it keeps. So basically what it would say is, all right, I'm going to put this skill on, and the first try it goes and it gets Holy Shield. It says, nope. Second try it gets Smite. Nope. Third try it gets Smite. Nope. Fourth try it gets Holy Shield. Nope. Fifth try it gets Meditation. Cool. All right. And it puts Meditation on. But when you hit the 6th try and it's Smite or Holy Shield again, it goes, whoa, 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 whoa. This is just going on too long. We need to get something decided. And this is where it would blast out Holy Shield right here and put Holy Shield as on it, or Smite, and that would be it. So on that 7th roll, whatever it rolls, it is keeping, even if it's a banned skill. So the same thing like we talked about for the Barbarian, this is where you could get Whirlwind or Leap Attack or Frenzy, or literally any combat skill except Leap does not belong on Barb Helms. But if it keeps rolling through Barb skills and it keeps hitting these banned skills and it gets to that 7th try, it's just going to slap it on and say, I'm done rolling. This is the item. And this allowed for creating some really cool items, such as the Holy Shield CTA, which is just a fun way you can kind of min-max a little bit more, right? You're not having to put the point into it, or if you're trying to, if you don't want to put points going down to it for some reason. Now you have a CTA with the Holy Shield. It's beautiful. It's very fun. And again, just this super rare, difficult case, because again, you need the item to roll 7 times through all those paladin skills that it can put on a scepter and whiff every single time, so that for that 7th time, it'll just slap it on and have it on there. So this was a very rare example, a very rare item that you just didn't come across very often, but when you did, it was super cool. And unfortunately, in Diablo 2 Resurrected, at some point, I'm not sure when, they stealth patched this, and it is no longer the case. These banned skills, which again I will show all right here, will not spawn no matter what on these items. So there's no more Holy Shield or Smite on your scepters, so you no longer get that. And for your Barb Helms, you're no longer getting any and all of these on your Barb Helms, which is sad. These ones did spawn a little bit more often, because you can see the more banned skills that you do add to an item, the more chance that it has to hit a banned skill, which means it'll re-roll more often, which means you'll get a banned skill at the end more often overall, right? So the Barbarian Helms, you actually could find these a little bit more. And while a lot of them weren't super useful, it could be really useful to have something like Whirlwind, because there's a lot of skill points to get down to Whirlwind, and if it's just something that you want to have in like a 1 point, or if you're like low level dueling onto level 30 with it or something, now you can save all those points to get down to Whirlwind. You can just have the 1 point or 3 points, whatever, into it, and then you can, do whatever else with your skills. So there is some benefit for some of those. I think Leap Attack you could also find some benefit for, but these aren't there anymore. They've removed it. Funnily enough, they have not removed this whole idea, though, from the game, because this is something that you could actually find with shrines, and which is something I was going to say skill shrines, but not. With shrines, which is something I've talked about before. I have a whole video on shrines, but essentially, in the early areas of Diablo 2, the only shrines you're really going to be rolling are going to be your experience shrines, your skill shrines, your stamina shrines, your mana recharge shrines, couple others, right? Refilling. But you're not going to be rolling things like a combat shrine in your cold plains. You're not going to be rolling a resist lightning shrine in your cold plains or in your blood moor. If you go to that video, I explain why, but essentially there is a specific level requirement where you'll find every kind of shrine where it can start spawning, and it starts over every difficulty. So Act 1 Hell, Blood Moor, is like ID 1, I think. I think 0 is town or 1 is town, 2 is Blood Moor, whatever it is. And so you're only going to spawn those first few shrines because it uses that ID instead of the area level. I think it's not properly coded. You probably should be able to get dope shrines in Hell Act 1 Blood Moor, but that is what it is. Again, how they decided it. However, it does the same thing. It'll try and put the shrine, and if it hits a shrine it can't hit, it'll re-roll it. If it hits a shrine it can't place, it'll re-roll it. And it would do that same exact thing X amount of times. It might have been 8 or 9 actually for that one. But maybe it's 6 as well. And then it will put whatever shrine is. Eventually it says, I got to stop this loop, and it'll put that shrine there. And this is something that you actually can see in Diablo 2 Resurrected still. So every now and then you'll be in the Blood Moor, you'll be in the Cold Plains, and you'll come across one of these shrines that shouldn't be able to be there, but it is. So they have not taken the logic out of all of the areas of the game and where it does this with the re-rolling, but they have taken it out for the items. So unfortunately, these are really the two bugs that have been removed. One being the E-bug, 2 being the bugged banned skills. Overall, I'd say very sad. I'd say of things I wish they fixed, I wish that they left those 2 alone. That being said, Diablo 2 Resurrected does have a lot of really great changes. I think they did a fantastic job with it. I mean, so many things have been improved. So many things have been fixed that needed to be fixed, such as the bugged Viper damage and stuff, right? Like, oh God, going into Nilthak Temple and just getting wrecked from the poison clouds. Basically, if you don't know what it is, the poison clouds would do physical damage every tick. So it would apply their physical damage to what was supposed to be the poison damage. And whenever you moved, you would take it, like every frame of it. And so you would just get slaughtered. It would just like murder you instantly from this bugged poison damage. So they like fix stuff like that. They fixed the fire enchant bug, where again, in Nightmare, and especially you would feel it in Nightmare, but Nightmare in Hell, if a monster was fire enchanted, it would just do insane amounts of damage on its explosions and stuff. So they fixed that up, as well as I'm pretty sure the elements, the enchants like working together. So you could have it where like a lightning enchant and a fire enchant monster, or if it was lightning and fire enchanted, each of the lightning bolts would have like fire enchant explosions on it when the monster got put into hit recovery or something. There was a lot of weird interactions with all of that stuff. And they've done a great job fixing a lot of those. So plenty of bugs that needed to be fixed did get fixed. Some of the item bugs like this, like these ones, maybe didn't need to be touched, but they did anyways. And then they wrecked my my druid, unfortunately. The werebear druid with shockwave, where he actually had decent damage for once with his bugged shockwave. That was a little sad. But anyways, that's other things to talk about. That's another video. This was Bugged Items with Mr. Llama SC and Diablo 2 Resurrected. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned a little something. Don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody.